Welcome to Deer Hunt Productions, the channel for all your favorite horror media. I'm DanCat33, and I'll be explaining the story of the Lich, one of the main antagonists in Adventure Time. He's an ancient cosmic evil with one goal, the extinction of all life. In the almost 15 years of Adventure Time, the Lich has undergone many changes, so let's get to them. The Lich began as a version of the Catalyst Comet, a massive comet that hits Earth every 1,000 years, bringing great change. It's revealed in The Comet that Finn and the Lich were both previous incarnations of the Catalyst Comet. In the prequel episode, Evergreen, the Lich Comet is heading toward Earth, and the elementals gather to discuss what action they should take. The Ice Elemental, Evergreen, believes the comet will kill everyone on Earth, and plans on building a magic crown that'll let him wish to destroy the comet. The other elementals worry that if the wish goes wrong, it could cause irreversible damage to existence. They're fine with perishing, as the elements they embody will live on even if they die. Evergreen disagrees, so he freezes them and makes the crown despite their concerns. However, he's attacked, and it's up to his apprentice, Gunter, to make the wish. He instead wishes to become like Evergreen, transforming him into the first Ice King. With nothing stopping the comet, it impacts Earth, wiping out Evergreen, Gunter, and the dinosaurs. Even worse, it delivers the Lich's spirit to Earth. A long time later, the elemental embodiments lived in a non-magic time. We see in the episode Elemental that as they gathered more, they began to see visions of the future, including the Lich, foreshadowing a change in the world, a cataclysmic event known as the Mushroom War. This war resulted in a nuclear fallout that devastated the Earth and nearly wiped out all humans. A mutagenic bomb was dropped in America, which released the spirit of the Lich. It's implied this bomb is what caused a lot of the magical elements in the series. As in the Farm World timeline where the bomb never goes off, the world is lacking magic. That timeline also implies the spirit of the Lich possessed a man who was submerged in the bomb's mutagenic waste. The Lich's first proper role as a villain is in the episode Mortal Folly. As Princess Bubblegum is meditating with Finn and Jake, she has a vision of the Lich. She takes the boys into the Candy Kingdom's tree, where the Lich is encased in amber. Before this episode, he had been converting the planet's life force into unholy power at his tower. That rhymes. Luckily, Billy intervened and attacked him. We briefly see this in a previous episode, His Hero. Billy pummeled the Lich into the tree's amber, trapping him inside. The group has to wear gems to prevent the Lich from controlling them with his spells. But unknown to them, a snail is snuck into Finn's backpack, and the Lich gains control of it. It breaks the amber, freeing the Lich. Finn uses Jake as a sword to try to stop him, but he still gets away, traveling to his lair. Princess Bubblegum gives Finn the only known weapon that can hurt the Lich, Billy's gauntlet. She also gives him a sweater so he doesn't get cold in the Lich's lair. She tells him to track the Lich's trail of death, but they're interrupted by Ice King, asking for their blessing to marry Princess Bubblegum. They leave him dejected, so naturally, he just abducts Bubblegum. Finn and Jake catch up to the Lich, but again, Ice King interrupts them. Thanks to this distraction, the Lich manages to reach his well of power. Finn and Jake travel into an abandoned subway and fight some of his skeleton warriors. The Lich regains his power from the well, which seems to be mutagenic waste from the bomb that unleashed him. Finn and Jake attack him, but he easily stops them and shatters the gauntlet. He throws fire in their face, and in the chaos, Finn's gem breaks. The Lich begins to influence Finn and tells him to walk into the well. He manages to resist the Lich thanks to the power of liking someone a lot. He quickly attacks him and uses the sweater to tear off his head. With this experience having brought them closer together, Ice King apologizes for kidnapping Bubblegum and sets her free, dropping her right into the Lich's well of power. The next episode, Mortal Recoil, starts with Princess Bubblegum being rushed to the hospital. She's stabilized, but notably with less color and a more deadpan voice. Ice King is worried about something he saw after the Lich was defeated, but Finn tells him to leave. Princess Bubblegum calls him the Ice Wizard and a weak fool. Finn and Jake take care of Bubblegum, gathering her all the flowers in the Candy Kingdom, but she still seems really off. She asks Finn to get some things for her, and in the meantime, Jake sings her a song. This makes her more agitated. She sets the room on fire and scares Jake away. Finn gets back with her supplies, such as bleach, lighter fluid, ammonia, gasoline, and plutonium. Jake tries to warn him that something is really wrong with her, but he still gives her the stuff. Jake tells him about the fire, and he gets worried enough to check the room. It's all burnt, and they approach the glowing light from the bathroom door. Jake is freaked out and peeks through the keyhole. Even though Finn calls him a perv, Jake forces Finn to look too. Luckily, Jake wasn't being creepy. He was just showing Finn the mutated Bubblegum, who's mixing chemicals to create a miniature version of the Lich's well of power in the bathtub, hence why she needed the plutonium. They try to stop her, but Finn and Jake are knocked through a wall. where Ice King is kinda just lurking. He says he had to keep an eye on the princess since the Lich possessed her after he was defeated. Ice King wants to help, but Finn is still pretty mad about the whole killing bubblegum thing. However, after getting beat up by the Lich, he asks Ice King to help. Together, they manage to freeze him, but while celebrating, the frozen Lich topples over and shatters, once again killing bubblegum. There's not enough material to remake her, so she's now 13 years old again. Ice King immediately loses all interest in her and leaves, while everyone else celebrates bubblegum not being dead. Everyone except the Lich, who survived thanks to the possessed snail. Following this, the snail Lich schemes with the bear to steal the Enchiridion from Finn. This ancient book helps train heroes, and has great power that the Lich would need for the next step in his plan. In the episode, In Your Footsteps, the bear mimics Finn to befriend him. Oh bear, you're no mimic. Anyway, at the end of the episode, Finn gives the Enchiridion to the bear so he can become a true hero. Instead, he brings the book to the snail Lich, which leads into the next episode, simply titled The Lich. That episode starts with an odd dream featuring Billy, the bear, and the snail Lich, who uses the Enchiridion to transform and attack Billy. Finn wakes up and tells Jake about the dream. When he mentions the cosmic owl was there, Jake thinks it might have been a premonition. They decide to go warn Billy, waking him up at 3 in the morning. After they explain the dream to him, Billy says it was an omen and asks Finn if he's ready to go on a mission to save all of life from the Lich. He tells them they have to steal the gems from the Crowns of Power. After snatching a few of them, Finn finds the Enchiridion in Billy's saddlebag. He says he took it from a bear and explains it has magical powers. A hologram from the book, named Booko, shows them the multiverse, and in the center of it is the Time Room, a single dimension that exists outside of time where the almighty Prismo resides. He explains that when all the gems are inserted into the Enchiridion, it'll have the power to open a portal to any dimension in the multiverse. Billy says he's gonna push the Lich in the portal, and with that explained, they set out to steal the final gem from Princess Bubblegum. Finn acts really deranged while doing so, and Bubblegum accidentally slashes him. He runs off with the gem and puts in the book, transforming the Enchiridion. He quickly goes to deliver it to Billy, but Bubblegum follows Finn outside and she yells at him to stop, saying that's not Billy, it's the Lich. A Gumball Guardian appears and fires at Billy, and when the smoke clears, the Lich is revealed beneath his skin. This whole time, Billy has been the Lich. That dream in the opening showed him possessing Billy and wearing his body. Finn understandably freaks out, but the Lich tells him everything he said was true. He can use the book to give Finn anything he wants. To stop him, Finn destroys the book. However, this was just another trick, as destroying the book opens the portal. Jake tries to stop the Lich, but he still makes it through the portal. They grab onto him and are pulled through with him. In the following episode, Finn the Human, they follow the Lich into Prismo's time room, but he disappears before they can jump him. Prismo the Wishmaster explains that the Lich wished for the extinction of all life. Jake tries to wish that life wasn't extinct, but Finn stops him, reasoning that the Lich would just mess everything up again. Instead, he wishes the Lich never existed. This wish creates a world where Simon freezes the mutagenic bomb, preventing it from exploding, but also making the world devoid of magic. Finn is a less cool human in this universe, and this world is ruled by the Destiny Gang, a group of really poorly dressed guys. Finn's dad is in trouble with them, so they have to sell off their mule, Bartram, to pay them off. However, Finn discovers the crown on Simon's skeleton. An old Marceline warns him of its power, but he takes it anyway. He wants to sell the crown so his family can keep Bartram. However, it gets stolen by the Destiny Gang. He fights them a bit, and in return, they burn his house. To save his family, he puts on the crown and becomes Ice Finn. In the next episode, Jake the Dog, Ice Finn puts out the house fire, but he gets a little crazy and sets off the mutagenic bomb, releasing the spirit of the Lich. He finds Jake in some nuclear soup, and he's possessed by the Lich. Seeing how bad things are getting, the original Jake, still in Prismo's time room, finally decides to use his wish. He can't figure out how to get him and Finn home and bring back all life, but Prismo helps him out by telling him he can change the Lich's wish. Jake wishes the Lich's wish was to send Finn and Jake home. It's great watching the Lich's expression as he wishes for the wrong thing. Finn and Jake are returned home with all life saved, and the Lich is stranded in Prismo's time room. Later in the episode, Wake Up, the Lich is still stuck there. During one of Prismo's parties, people start messing with him, and Peppermint Butler asks why he isn't killing everyone. Prismo explains that the Lich's primary function is to cause mass death, and since he can't do that while he's trapped in the time room, he's stuck in a standstill, like a machine without a purpose. Shortly after Prismo's party, Finn and Jake ask him for help getting to the Citadel, a space prison where Finn's dad is. The only way to get there is by committing a cosmic crime. So Prismo has them retrieve his real body, a sleeping old man. Waking up the old man will kill Prismo the Wishmaster, and that cosmic crime will get them to the Citadel. Before they can do that, the Lich suddenly becomes active again, now that he can kill someone. He grabs the old man and wakes him up, killing Prismo. He then goes even further and kills the old man, laughing hysterically as he does. Don't worry though, he gets revived later. A Citadel Guardian appears, they freeze the Lich and Crystal, and Finn and Jake hitch a ride to the Citadel. In the following episode, Escape from the Citadel, the Lich is imprisoned, but his evil spreads through the Citadel, melting it and corrupting its prisoners. Finn and Jake find Finn's dad, Martin. He kind of sucks and gets injured during the chaotic prison break, but they're able to use some of the Citadel Guardian blood to regrow his leg. To repay their generosity, he flees like a coward when the Lich appears. His crystal explodes, finally removing Billy's corpse and revealing its disturbing skeleton. The Lich commands Finn and Jake to fall, and then proceeds to deliver one of the greatest villain speeches ever, which I can't play because of copyright reasons. Anyways, the Lich tells Finn he's alone, there's only darkness for him and death for his people. He'll command an army that will sail across the universe until all life has been extinguished. The Lich reaches to finish Finn off, but gets the Citadel Guardian blood on him, and horrifically enough, flesh begins to grow over his skeleton. This releases the prisoners from his control, and Finn throws some more on him, fully growing a body over the Lich's skeleton. He tells Jake to finish him off as he tries to stop his dad from escaping. Finn uses his grass sword arm to hold onto the shard Martin is leaving on, but his arm is torn off. Jake tells him it'll be alright, and Finn asks if at least the Lich is dead. Jake reveals the Citadel Guardian blood actually rebooted the Lich, turning him into a big old baby. Finn and Jake return home through a portal summoned during the prison escape, and they leave the baby Lich with Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig. We follow up with the baby Lich in gold stars. He's named Sweet Pea, and goes to school under the supervision of the entire Candy Kingdom guard, since they're worried about the Lich's spirit reawakening. However, things go smoothly, but judging from Finn's checklist, they're going to be keeping a close eye on him for a while. A little creepy, but somewhat justified considering the Lich killed Billy and wore his corpse. Sweet Pea gets made fun of by some students and doesn't go to school. Instead, the self-proclaimed King of Ooh and his assistant Toronto recruit him. They use him as part of their scam, where they get him to do a dumb dance to distract people while they rob them. When Sweet Pea catches onto this, he runs home, and the King of Ooh threatens to burn down his parents' orchard. They make fun of him, calling him Baby Man, and this finally reawakens the Lich, who uses his deep voice to stop the King of Ooh and that raccoon guy. He thanks them for all he's learned, and gives them a lesson. He says before there was time, before there was anything, there were monsters. The King of Ooh and the raccoon guy react in horror to these creatures, and are even more terrified when Sweet Pea appears and unleashes some of the Lich's nightmare smoke. They scream and flee the orchard, and the Lich's spirit goes back to being dormant. In the episode Crossover, Prismo calls Finn and Jake to help him out. It turns out Jake's wish to counter the Lich's wish didn't erase the farm world reality. It exists as an alternate universe, where currently Icefin is trying to use the Enchiridion to open a portal to the multiverse. Prismo doesn't know what will happen if he does this, and since something is blocking his power to prevent it, he sends Finn and Jake to deal with Icefin. He gives them the Maid, a weapon that will take care of any multiversal mistake, but Finn nor Jake can go through with killing Icefin, so they decide just to steal the Enchiridion. This goes wrong very quickly, and things get even worse when the farm world Lich appears, still possessing Jake the dog. He's been controlling Big Destiny, making him gather up all the jewels needed for the portal. Just like the original Finn, Icefin is being used by the Lich to get what he wants. Icefin freezes normal Finn, and the Lich puts Jake to sleep, allowing them to open the portal. Icefin just wants to bring the people of his world to another universe that isn't all nuked and frozen, but the Lich wants to kill everyone in every universe. He begins his murder spree with Jake, but Finn's grass sword arm slices off his hand, and Jake pushes him to the portal, duplicating it in every universe. The Lich tries to attack Icefin, but Jake restrains him as Finn calms down Icefin. Together, they use the Maid to annihilate the Lich. Prismo uses the power of editing to destroy the crown, fixing Icefin and ending the episode on a happy note. Later in the episode, Whispers, Finn and his grass clone, Fern, find Sweet Pea running away in terror. He says there was a monster telling him he's bad and has always been bad. Finn brushes it off as a nightmare, and the group rests before returning him home. Finn is awoken by the sound of scuffling, and while at first he thinks it's Mr. Fox, it's quickly revealed to be the Lich's hand. It turns out the hand from the farm world Lich is sentient, and he's trying to turn Sweet Pea evil. He begins to monologue before Finn shuts him up. He's furious about the Lich meddling with Sweet Pea. The Lich says he's going to remind the child of his legacy. And suddenly, Finn is ambushed by Sweet Pea, who the Lich calls his son. The hand scampers away, and the Lich's spirit returns to being dormant, putting the very scared Sweet Pea back in control. Finn tells Fern to guard Sweet Pea as he goes after the Lich. Once he leaves, the Lich becomes active again, saying he must seek out his well of power. Finn's already on his way there, retracing his footsteps from mortal Folly. He's ambushed by the Lich and nearly falls into his well of power. Just ask Bubblegum how that goes. The Lich says that while Finn's bested him in many worlds, he always returns. I think he'd like Chucky and Afton, those guys always come back. Finn calls the Lich basic evil, which is fair criticism I guess, but that's kind of part of the appeal. The Lich agrees, saying that while the mortal world questions, he knows exactly what he is. He morphs into an awesome Lich shadow and calls himself the Last Scholar of Golb, a mysterious creature who's the embodiment of chaos. Sweet Pea appears, goofily falling into the Lich's lair and seemingly having turned evil. However, he reaffirms that he's good, and he stabs the Lich's hand, defeating it. In Adventure Time's finale, Come Along With Me, when Finn and Fern have to face their shared trauma, there's a brief appearance of the Lich wearing Billy's skin. Toward the end of the episode, Betty, Ice King / Simon's fiance, summons Golb and tries to harness his power in one last desperate attempt to rid Simon of the crown's madness. Betty, Ice King, and Finn end up falling in Golb's mouth, and in his stomach, they're broken down to their essential forms, reverting Ice King to Simon. Finn and Simon escape, but Betty stays behind and uses the crown to fuse with Golb, becoming Golb Betty to save Ooh. Following the finale is the spin-off show Fionna and Cake, where the now non-crazy Ice King, Simon, finds out that Prismo has stored an entire fanfic universe in his mind. Fionna and Cake, this universe's versions of Finn and Jake, escape Simon's mind, and learn that now that he's back to normal, their universe will die along with him. They journey across the multiverse to find a new magical crown, so Simon can become Ice King again, saving their world and himself from how alone he feels. In episode 4, Prismo the Wishmaster, a black and white universe is briefly shown, and in the cave behind Princess Bubblegum, you can see a faint silhouette of the Lich. This variant of the Lich doesn't show up again, but I like his appearance. He looks pretty creepy. At the end of episode 6, The Winter King, Fionna, Cake, and Simon briefly enter a world where everyone's a baby, including the Lich. Luckily, he doesn't do anything nefarious, since he's just a dumb baby. In episode 8, Jerry, they travel to a world devoid of all life in search of the magic crown. The only remaining resident is Bimo, and luckily for them, this resident isn't evil. The crew needs help repairing their multiversal travel remote, and Bimo says Princess Bubblegum can help. When they get to the Candy Kingdom, it's similarly empty, and instead of meeting the princess, Bimo roleplays as her. He explains that one day, everyone suddenly turned into a skeleton, and then his friend named Jerry appeared. When he can't fix the remote, Bimo tries to use his heart to charge it, but instead, he explodes. Fionna and Cake bury him as Simon gives a pretty good funeral speech, because that guy knows a lot about tragedy. Cake says they should go tell Jerry about Bimo passing. They descend into his ominous abode, littered with skeletons. Simon reacts with horror as he sees the Lich sitting upon a pile of bodies. He yells to run, but with a simple command, the Lich seizes them. He comments on how Simon has risen again, referring to him as Ice Wizard, as a reference to how he called Ice King that in Mortal Recoil. The Lich says in olden days, he would have rewarded his insolence with death 1,000-fold, but instead, he lets him go. He chuckles, before becoming dormant again. After causing the extinction of all life, the Lich has become depressed, lacking all purpose. It seems like this reality was created when the Lich wished for the extinction of all life back in Finn the Human. As shown in Ice King's tape, and as explained by Bimo, everyone suddenly turned into a skeleton, and then the Lich appeared. The jewels needed to open the portal are still in their proper place, so it doesn't seem like the portal ever opened in this universe. The Lich is still wearing Billy's corpse, just like he was when he wished for mass extinction. So it seems that similar to Farm World, the Lich's wish-altered reality continues to exist. Fionna reveals she found the magic crown as they were exploring the ruins of the Ice Kingdom. But after seeing how sad and crazy the Ice King was, she can't let Simon turn back into him. He says if he doesn't become Ice King, their whole world will die. Simon reassures her it'll be okay, and using the Lich as a battery, he performs the malfunctioning spell to see Golb Betty, which opens a portal into the universe within his mind. Fionna and Cake return to their world, but before Simon puts on the crown, the spell works, opening a portal to see Golb Betty. The Lich senses Golb and follows him through. The next episode, Casper Nova, finds Simon in Golb's realm, and he sees the Lich praying. He reveals that for ages untold, he studied Golb's ways, devoting his existence to him. He strove to eliminate all life for Golb, and as we've seen, he achieved this in his universe. However, the Lich gained no satisfaction from this. Instead, he lost all purpose. Simon weirdly understands what he's going through, but the Lich ignores him and shouts at Golb. Golbetti finally reveals herself. Simon tries to talk to her, but is interrupted by an enraged Lich. He tears off Billy's skin and yells at Golbetti, demanding an answer for what more they could want from him. Golbetti focuses on the Lich, levitating him and tearing every bone in his body apart. He screams as he's transformed into a floating green cube. Last, but certainly not least, the Lich's final chronological appearance is in Together Again, an episode in the Adventure Time spin-off show Distant Lands. This takes place long after the rest of the series. Finn and Jake are dead, but even then, they're not allowed to rest in peace. Death's son, New Death, wants to get rid of all the dead worlds in the afterlife, and cut off reincarnation entirely. Life gives Finn and Jake the Kiss of Life, a magic stick to defeat New Death, but they can't quite get the hang of it. So they just repeatedly beat New Death with a stick, until they can restrain him with a paper talisman. He takes this opportunity to explain that if they kill him, they'll be tied to his responsibilities forever. That's a lot to handle, so Finn and Jake decide to just leave him. However, he starts to laugh, and green fire emerges from him, beginning to burn the paper. Finn recognizes the voice, and rips off New Death's glove, revealing the farm world Lich hand. It turns out the Lich has been puppeting New Death all along, convincing him to kill his dad and take over his death, so the Lich could use him to cut off reincarnation, effectively ending all life. Finn and Jake are given no other option but to kill New Death to stop the Lich, but they fight over who should sacrifice themselves. Mr. Fox finds them fighting over the Kiss of Life, and as they're talking, the Lich finally breaks free of the talisman. In a panic, Mr. Fox points the Kiss of Life at him, and it attacks New Death. Turns out, Finn and Jake were just using the wrong end of the stick. New Death explodes, and Mr. Fox becomes Death, a role he's happy with. The Lich immediately tries to get on his good side, but Jake crushes him and tosses the hand away, presumably killing him. The episode ends with Finn and Jake choosing to be reborn together, ending their story on a happy note. The Lich also appears in the Adventure Time comic series, including a new variant, Echo of the Lich, who's a wraith the Lich created in case he was ever defeated. However, these comics appear to be non-canon, so I won't discuss them. As of now, those are all of the Lich's appearances, but with the upcoming season of Fionna and Cake, a prequel show, a BMO spin-off, new comics, and a movie, the Lich is bound to return once again. I really hope you enjoyed learning more about this evil spirit. The original version of this video was the first story content I ever released on this channel, and now story videos are what we mainly produce. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, share, and consider supporting us and our future projects. You can do this by buying a super thanks on this video or joining our monthly membership. Becoming a member gets you a ton of cool perks like shoutouts in our videos and descriptions, custom emojis and badges next to your name, exclusive updates, priority replies to comments, and if possible, you'll be the first to see our newest videos. Special thanks to our current member, Shaun the Toit. Thanks for watching, and check out some of our other videos.